A billionaire, bored of winning at life, sat alone in a luxury restaurant playing chess with himself, believing no one in that room could challenge his mind. Then he noticed a waitress, tired eyes, worn shoes, quiet confidence. She wasn't watching him. She was studying the board. For fun, he invited her to play, expecting an easy win and a quick laugh. But within minutes, the room felt different. His smile faded. His confidence cracked. One by one, his pieces disappeared. What he didn't know was that this waitress wasn't ordinary. She was a forgotten genius, forced to bury her brilliance just to survive. That single game would expose a truth money couldn't buy, and change both their lives forever. The first time the billionaire noticed the waitress, it was not because she spilled coffee or dropped a tray, but because her eyes lingered on the chessboard as if it were whispering secrets only she could hear. In a world built on power lunches, silent wars in boardrooms, and deals sealed with handshakes colder than marble, that small, quiet moment would become the spark that changed two lives forever. He had invited her to play chess for fun, thinking it would be a harmless distraction, never imagining that the woman clearing plates carried a mind sharper than any executive he had ever faced. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that true brilliance can be hidden in the most unexpected places, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The billionaire's name was Adrian Wolfe, a man whose life looked flawless from the outside. His glass towers rose over the city like monuments to victory. His face appeared in business magazines framed by words like visionary and ruthless, and his net worth was spoken about in hushed, reverent tones. But inside, his life felt hollow. His days were an endless loop of meetings and negotiations, and his nights were spent alone in penthouses filled with art he never truly saw. Chess had become his private escape, a game where control made sense and every move had a consequence he could calculate. He often played alone in an exclusive restaurant after hours, believing no one there could challenge him. The waitress was named Elena, though most people never bothered to learn her name. To them, she was simply the woman who refilled glasses and smiled politely while carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. She worked double shifts, wore shoes that pinched her feet, and sent most of her paycheck to cover hospital bills for her mother. Her life had narrowed to survival, leaving no room for dreams. Yet every night, as she wiped tables and stacked chairs, her eyes found the chessboard Adrian kept near the window. It reminded her of another life, one where her mind was valued and her future seemed limitless. Years earlier, Elena had been a prodigy. Growing up in a cramped apartment, she learned chess from an old neighbor who taught her not just the rules, but the philosophy of the game. She learned patience, sacrifice, and the art of seeing several moves ahead. By 16, she was defeating players twice her age, earning small scholarships and local trophies. Then life intervened. Her father died suddenly, her mother fell ill, and the fragile structure supporting her education collapsed. Chess became a luxury she could no longer afford, and brilliance was traded for stability. She packed her trophies into a box and chose work over dreams. One quiet evening, Adrian noticed her watching again. There was something in her gaze that unsettled him, not admiration, but recognition, as if she understood the positions on the board. On impulse, fueled by boredom and curiosity, he gestured for her to sit during her break. He invited her to play, expecting awkward moves and quick victory. To him, it was a light-hearted gesture, almost charitable. A powerful man humoring a waitress. To Elena, it felt like stepping back into a part of herself she thought was lost forever. The first few moves were cautious. Adrian played confidently, assuming control, while Elena mirrored his strategy with unexpected precision. As the game unfolded, the atmosphere shifted. The billionaire leaned forward, his casual posture replaced by focus. He realized he was no longer teaching or entertaining. He was being challenged. Elena's moves were elegant and ruthless, sacrificing pieces with a clarity that revealed long-term vision. Patrons nearby sensed something unusual, though few understood what they were witnessing. A waitress was dismantling a man who had never learned how to lose. Adrian's defeat came quietly. There was no dramatic checkmate announcement, only the undeniable realization that the game was over. For the first time in years, he felt something stir inside him. Not anger, but awe. He looked at Elena differently now, seeing not her uniform or her position, but her mind. She stood up, apologetic and unsure, expecting reprimand or dismissal. Instead, Adrian asked her to play again, and again. Each game deepened his respect and unearthed questions he had never thought to ask. Over the following weeks, chess nights became routine. Elena's confidence grew with every match, though her life outside the board remained unchanged. She still rushed from table to table, hiding exhaustion behind practiced smiles. Adrian began to notice details he had always ignored. The strain in her posture, the careful way she counted tips, the quiet dignity with which she endured dismissive customers. He started asking about her life, not out of obligation, but genuine interest. Slowly, her story emerged, fragmented and raw. The realization hit Adrian harder than any loss on the board. Here was a genius constrained by circumstance, her potential buried under responsibility and bad luck. It forced him to confront an uncomfortable truth about his own journey. He had been born into advantage, groomed for success, shielded from the brutal choices Elena faced daily. His empire was built on talent, yes, but also on opportunities she had never been given. That awareness cracked something open in him, reshaping how he saw power and purpose. Elena, meanwhile, wrestled with conflicting emotions. Chess reignited a fire she had smothered for years, but it also reopened wounds. Each victory reminded her of what she had lost. She feared hoping again, afraid that dreaming would only lead to deeper disappointment. Yet Adrian's respect was undeniable. He never treated her as a novelty or charity case. On the board, they were equals, and that equality was intoxicating. One evening, Adrian invited Elena to attend a private chess event hosted by influential players and investors. The idea terrified her. She owned no formal clothes, had never set foot in such spaces, and dreaded being exposed as an imposter. But something in Adrian's steady belief pushed her to accept. When she arrived, dressed modestly but with quiet grace, eyes followed her with curiosity and skepticism. She felt their judgment before a single move was made. The matches that night were brutal and beautiful. Elena played with a hunger born of years of silence, her strategies unconventional yet devastatingly effective. One by one, seasoned players fell. Whispers spread, disbelief turning into admiration. Adrian watched from the sidelines, pride swelling in a way he had never felt over profits or accolades. He was witnessing a transformation, not just of a career, but of a human spirit reclaiming itself. Success did not come without cost. Elena faced backlash from those who questioned her legitimacy and resented her rise. She battled self-doubt, haunted by the fear that one mistake would send her back to obscurity. Adrian faced criticism too, accused of favoritism and spectacle, but together they stood firm. Their bond, forged over silent battles on a checkered board, was built on mutual respect rather than dependency. As opportunities opened for Elena, including sponsorships and training offers, she made a choice that surprised many. She refused to abandon her job immediately, insisting on stability until her mother's health improved. Adrian respected her decision, offering support without pressure. In that restraint, she found trust. Their relationship was not about rescue, but recognition. Months later, Elena stood on a global stage, competing in a championship she once believed was forever out of reach. Cameras flashed, commentators analyzed her every move, and the world learned her name. Adrian watched from afar, knowing his role was not as a savior, but as someone who had simply paid attention when it mattered. Her victory, whether measured by trophies or resilience, belonged solely to her. As the story reached its quiet resolution, Elena returned to the restaurant one last time, not as a waitress, but as a reminder of where she came from. She thanked the staff who had supported her and the space that had unknowingly held her dreams. Adrian joined her there, the chessboard between them unchanged, a symbol of chance and choice. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that brilliance can be hidden behind uniforms and smiles, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps these stories reach those who need them most. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel, because your voice matters here. Elena's journey did not end with fame or fortune. It continued in quieter ways, through mentorship, advocacy, and the simple act of believing in others who stood where she once stood. Adrian's life changed too, not because he gained anything material, but because he learned that true power lies in seeing people for who they are, not what they appear to be. In the end, a simple game played for fun became a mirror, reflecting the extraordinary truth that genius often waits patiently for someone to notice.